Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together to talk about nerd shit. Tonight, I'm your host, Miguel Sanchez, and with me is...
Ed Bull.
That's right. We have three nerds. We have three friends. We have three bambinos.
We have more friends than that.
Which, honestly, true. We could have called someone else. Someone would have come and talked about this. We actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we should have just called Eric and seen if he could have done it, because he actually saw this movie.
Oh, he saw this, yeah.
But, man, I did not think about that in time. But anyway, Luis is out this week. He is in San Diego for Comic-Con with work, so he is locked into that. And
Joaquin
God love him,
took us off.
He's took us. We don't say that enough. You know what I mean?
Took us. Bring took us back.
Bring took us back. You know what I mean?
Bringing took us back.
And you know, we're gonna try to do Luis a solid because God love him, he's still gonna edit this episode, and so we're gonna keep it real brief tonight. So we're gonna talk about just some coming soon, and a very brief trailer talk combined together. Then we're just gonna get straight into our feature discussion, which this week we're talking about Ari Aster's latest movie with Joaquin Phoenix, Eddington, which we actually saw that. I'm kind of surprised. We said we were going to, but I just kind of thought, nah, I probably won't. Something will come up.
I was 100% guaranteeing that. I was like, I'm excited. I don't think it's going to make a lot of money, so it's not going to be around for long.
And, you know, we helped it out. We went into the theater. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I saw it on a Tuesday, got a 50% discount. Okay.
Oof.
But hey, every penny counts, right? We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then maybe, just maybe, if we still have a little bit of time, maybe I'll just ask Ed off the podcast. He's watching a show that I want to get back into, so I want to see what his thoughts are. But we'll talk about it maybe with what we're into. We're going back to the old format, Luis. Sorry. Anyway, all right. So coming soon corner. We're talking about Ed. You put this on here. We got a first look at the first poster for Avatar: Fire and Ash, James Cameron's latest in the Avatar franchise, coming out later this year. We saw the poster. You put this up here. What do you think?
Yeah. You know, very on brand.
Consistent.
Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen it, you can easily find it online. It's the official poster, but it basically features a half face of a certain Na'vi who we haven't met yet, presumably kind of like a villain in this upcoming...
A fire Na'vi, who...
fire Na'vi.
I can't remember what the specific word for that is.
No, but they have tossed around the actual name of it, of the character, I mean, sorry. And she plays a big role. People would have recognized her from Game of Thrones.
Who is she in Game of Thrones?
Sorry, Varang.
Yeah.
Varang is the character's name, not the actor's name.
Hard-hitting news. Thank you, Ed.
Yeah, right.
But you know her from Game of Thrones. Who's she in Game of Thrones?
She is Robb Stark's wife.
Oh, the Red Wedding wife?
The Red Wedding wife, yes.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I'm sorry, I'm really trying to pull up her.
And now I'm trying to sit here and think, when did they film? Because they filmed 2 and 3 back to back, if I remember correctly, or pretty close to each other.
Yes, pretty much. He said they were doing, post for 3 when they were releasing 2.
Yeah, but it's just so she finished Game of Thrones and was like, oh my God, I get to be an Avatar. Ona Chaplin, shout out. And then we've had a decade to forget about her, to be honest. So good for her for coming back in this Avatar movie.
Na'vi.
I'll tell you this, and we're going to talk about it in a second, but I think she's going to be a standout in this movie. I mean, as far as performance.
Yeah, I did not expect her to be that front and center. Obviously,
this is the first poster coming out.
The first poster for the first one, obviously, it was Neytiri, which is the Zoe Saldana character. And then in the second one, it was the Sigourney Weaver character, who I'm blanking on her name.
Kiri.
But Kiri?
Yeah,
thank you. We got to see half of her face in the, I guess underwater, basically. You had that kind of little sparkle.
And now we're seeing the fire and ash,
Yes. Can I say my first instinct, aside from that's Avatar, kind of like the Christopher Nolan Ember. That's the signature. But my initial thought was it's very almost like God of War video gamey looking. And then I had to remind myself, well, this is Avatar.
This is Avatar.
Good
I
think
it's interesting
for not having to feature any of the main cast.
No. And I think it's interesting that now we have 3 Avatar movie posters. The intro. I don't want to say like teaser. Are they teaser posters? Is that what you call them?
I think that's what they're calling it. Teaser
But
posters.
this is like 3 in a row now for all of these movies where like the female lead is
That's true.
is like front and center, as like the heart of this franchise is the women. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. 100%.
And I really love that message.
Yeah.
And I do remember the Avatar Way of Water poster, like the main one with all the cast on it. I remember thinking that looked really cool.
Yeah.
I really dug the colors of this one, of that one. Excuse me. And of course, we loved that movie. I mean, I assume we still.
No, we sure did. And truthfully, throughout the entire franchise, all 2 movies, my favorite character from the get-go, we've talked about it a lot, but I wasn't as big a fan of the first one. Like, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
But the one thing that really stood out to me was Zoe Saldana's character.
She's so good.
She is so good in it. Like, it is astonishing just what she was able to, get through that performance, like get out of it.
She is the blueprint, basically.
Yeah, 100%. And equally, like, to your point, the introduction of characters, again, I don't know the characters' names, but like Kate Winslet's character, Neytiri, and then Sigourney Weaver's character, Keely, I forget. But they were the more interesting elements to that movie also. And I think that it's definitely intentional. James Gunn kind of always knowingly pokes fun at, I think, male stereotypes in action films or other, it's just like, but instead he's showing them as, vulnerable, foolhardy, men.
I think he's just so capable of like writing a really great like movie script. Yeah, he understands characters and he understands like how to make them stand out the most.
Dialogue not always, whatever. Sure. It's not Shakespeare, but
the formula of his movies work.
Exactly. Like you can't deny it.
There's a reason why he is James Cameron, and we keep seeing his movies.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, and he doesn't shy away from writing these really solid characters. That, I mean, I think the issue here is, I think a lot of people are like, I don't fucking know anything about Avatar. Even you, who's seen the second movie a good handful of times, I assume, and we like. I mean, you're having trouble naming the characters. That's a common criticism about the Avatar movies. Is like,
sure.
It makes all these billions of dollars, and I don't hear anyone talking about it. And I think that's kind of true. It's a very interesting like bubble. I mean,
yeah, it is. But in itself, especially with the second movie where I saw the light,
Same.
And I joined the religion or whatever. But for me, what I think I realized was it's the experience of it all. Absolutely. It's not necessarily there to make a lot of byproducts. It's there to tell this one strong story through mostly visually, groundbreaking storytelling. So I think that is supposed to be the draw, and clearly that is the draw because it keeps making a lot of fucking money. And I know that's only based off of 2 movies. It will be very interesting to see how people react to this third movie with such a shorter time span.
Yes.
And I feel like we were very negative on the second one. At least I was. I know I was. With it looming, I felt the trailer felt generic compared to the first one, like same old story. And the third one, you could argue maybe the same, but I think there is just like enough literally introducing the elements, like with water in the last one, which really just blew my fucking mind. I tell you one character I remember, Paya Khan, and I swear to God, if Paya Khan is coming back for this movie, and if anything happens to him, I'm done the franchise.
I get that. I get that.
That whale better be the surviving character
for all. I
swear to God. Yeah,
I will say this: every movie is like introducing, and on paper you say it, it just seems so simple and like kind of boring or cliche or whatever. But it's like introducing this tribe, introducing this tribe, introducing this tribe. But what I think works, and again because I bought into it, is the world is so rich that it's
Yes.
like there's a reason why we are not seeing them yet. It's because
Yeah.
I'm so focused on this portion of the world in this one story from part 1 to part 2, and now it's like now we've learned so much about the world that it's time to open up a little bit more. It's time to pull back and see the bigger picture just that much more.
Yeah.
And he's made a believer out of me. So
Yeah.
we did get a chance to see the third movie trailer, because it comes out this Friday in front of Fantastic Four on the IMAX screens. You guys, I'm so excited. I'm seeing IMAX, Fantastic Four in IMAX. So I'm really excited to see it there too. But we got a chance to see it a little bit early. It leaked, unfortunately, and it worked in our favor because we got to watch it. But I would say, to your point a second ago, Ed, about how the second movie's first trailer kind of looked, a little like, maybe generic is a word you would use if you're not bought into it yet.
Especially after like 10 years, you're just like, why are we
doing this again? Yeah. I think that it looks exactly like it's supposed to. It looks like you're jumping back into the world of, I'm blanking on the Pandora, and this is what it should look like in this like one location. You know what I mean? Do we know what the rest of the whole whatever world and space and everything looks like? No. And I think that's one of the things that I never really cared for about Star Wars, is it's so expansive, and I really like how James Cameron has really focused the story. One planet. Has really said this struggle.
This is a whole planet.
Yes. And it just, for me, it resonates more. The music's, I mean, I'm one of those people that's like, I don't pay attention to the scores as much as you and Luis do. But it's like, as soon as the Avatar music kicks in and like kind of swells right before the trailer, before the title card, I mean, I was like, yeah, dude, like inject it straight into my veins. I'm honestly back. I cannot wait.
Yeah. I like one of the, one of my most listened to songs of 2023 was a track from Avatar 2, The Way of Water. So, tells you how I feel about the score, but it wasn't that score in the trailer. But yeah, no, 100%. It has that effect now, and I have that curiosity now about where these characters are going and what's going to happen and the stakes involved. Especially, because first and foremost, James Cameron was making this as like a mirror of what we're doing to Earth, environmentally. And so, just along for the ride with those stakes in mind, like what is going to happen to Pandora inevitably, and this looks like a bit of a darker turn, for I guess as far as the setting and what they are trying to introduce here. So I think it's going to be interesting. Sorry, I kind of rambled there.
No, it's okay. What I was it dawned on me just now while you were talking was I was thinking about the format of this trailer and the format of part 2, Way of Water. What I was thinking was it looks a little more of the same in some things. Like you see the whales, you see the water, you obviously see the tribe, the water tribe, whose name I'm blanking on right now. But we kind of saw that in the second movie's first trailer as well. It was a lot of the forest avatars, Na'vi, and also the water tribe. And what we saw in the movie was like the opening 45 minutes or so of Way of Water is them still in the forest and then leaving the forest. And I'm thinking that's something similar that we're going to see here in this movie as well. We're going to probably start where we left off.
Right. Like catching up with the family, etc. Like everybody's position.
And then,
that was like a significant time jump too.
Yeah.
From 1 and 2. So it will be interesting to see
how long we linger in that part of the world before we move on. What's going to be the driving factor? We do see Quaritch is the bad guy, the big Avatar guy, and he's obviously back. He didn't die in the second one. Spoiler. but you know that if you've seen the movie. And it seems like he's doing everything he can to like Jake Sully is like his nemesis, and he is going to kill Jake Sully, and he like teams up with this fire tribe who also have this kind of darkness to them.
Yeah.
And you see him at one point in the trailer. I don't know if you remember that, or
with the
could make it out, but he's got the face paint on, like
the
he
war
is,
paint. Yeah.
and he's like, what I think is interesting about his character is he's going to have a really interesting arc where he's like super he's a human who's super anti Na'vi. He becomes an avatar in the second movie. And in the third movie, he's like fully like taking on their certain customs. You know what I mean? And it's like he's falling more and more and more down the rabbit hole and kind of becoming what he hates about Jake Sully. You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, let's see where we go.
Yeah, it's interesting because he definitely, you can tell he enjoys his new strengths as that character. But an interesting thing they set up in season 2, the second movie, is that like the thing he hates most about Jake Sully is that he was a traitor, essentially.
Yep.
So it's more like on that moral standpoint. Mm-hmm. But obviously,
you're not going to go against us.
Exactly. But that could take it in interesting places too, where eventually maybe humans turn on Quaritch for being like a permanent Na'vi. Exactly. And then there's also the spider element. Of course, I was just about to very present in this trailer.
Mm-hmm. Doing a really good job about making us go, is this kid gonna die in this movie,
or is he gonna put on clothes? I don't know.
Who knows?
He's still rocking a loincloth.
That would also be interesting if they switch places, right? Like for some reason he becomes more human and less, you know what I mean, he and then Quaritch becomes more Na'vi. But they did say, James Cameron did say that like this story is going to evolve into like the kids' story. Like they are going to take over the focus of this. And I do wonder if that's what we're going to start seeing by the end of this movie. Are Jake Sully and Neytiri going to survive? I mean, Neytiri is obviously injured at some point in this movie because she's like plugged into tubes and is something is happening with her. And also, it seems like she and the fire chief Na'vi they're going to have some sort of beef,
Yeah. I think you mentioned like the driving force around this one seems to be hate and anger.
Yeah.
So, and you saw some of that with Neytiri in the second film towards Quaritch, because obviously he's done everything in his power to destroy them, but.
I think Jake Sully has
I'm okay. I'm so okay with Jake Sully dying. It's like
I like him. I like him.
I dig him. It's just like I said, Neytiri is the heart and soul of this. Mm-hmm. I want to just like out of love of the character. I want to see her, almost like happy again and out of this like turmoil and conflict.
I think what's interesting is
that's just me. Like, I lose a lot losing her as far as my investment in this franchise.
What I like about Jake Sully is he has a really great line in the second movie's trailer where he's like, you and this family, like we are a fortress. You know what I mean? And you like understand like family, that bond is everything in that movie, is the theme of that. And obviously with what happens by the end of the second movie, she's very upset and very angry. And it's something we've seen in her character throughout the two movies so far, is like this passion, this fire. And it's just kind of like nature to her. And so Jake Sully this time being like, but we need to not like let this consume us. And so it's like, he's being like the voice of reason, in this one. So I don't know. I think he serves a purpose, and I like Jake Sully is what I'm saying. And
no, certainly he was our through line. I just think, emotionally, as far as that story goes.
And I definitely am not so attached to him. I think it's great that he has been the through line, but I definitely don't need him to be like the main character for all of these movies. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see how they start to shift focus with this one. And really what I really want from this one is, and I think I've said this before, is I'm going to keep going to see these Avatar movies until one is just absolutely terrible. And so my goal is to go in, have a good time, be reintroduced to this world, and hopefully walk away just as excited as I was at the end of the second movie, so I'm a fan. I'm an Avatar fan. I know, like, we have friends that aren't. Like, Sean is not he's like kind of like, I don't want to watch these movies. I don't care about them. I didn't like the first one.
Sure.
And I say this all the time, like, I'm not into Star Wars. So, like, this could be, for a lot of people, just not for them.
Right.
But I love it, and I'm glad I found something that I like so much.
Yeah, no, like I said, the second one having won me over, I just it won me in. I'm ready to see where it goes. And what I've said millions of times is, like, if I don't agree with this next one, I will always have that second one.
Yeah, that's so true. And it was so good. It can be this little, like, lightning in a bottle,
Yeah, 100%. It's enough story to be a singular thing.
Yeah.
A singular chapter, at least. In a world that, yes, you already are aware of, but yeah, it just worked so well on those levels that is easily accessible, as James Cameron intended.
Forrest my son is getting a little bit better about, like, sitting through movies a little bit longer. He's really good about, like, asking questions and, like, kind of he can, like, follow along on what's happening a lot better. And so I'm just kind of waiting for the time where we can sit down and, like, maybe watch those movies, But we're still at a point where we, like, stop a movie halfway through and we pick it up the next night. You know what I mean?
Sure,
We're not all the way there.
I definitely, just out of pure excitement, I definitely got excited after the second one and tried to show my family. And my daughter was just asking plenty of questions, which is absolutely fair because it's very confusing. But it was just, like, so much so I was just like, nah, we really need to do this. Like, she needs to see the first one to thoroughly understand why everything is what it is. Yep. And it's also, like, very mature content. But it was one of those rare moments, because I was so excited about it, I skipped over to the whales. The fucking whales, and showed her all of that, and she was mesmerized by that.
Yeah. So it's a great moment in the movie.
It's a wonderful moment. So yeah, to that I also am excited to get to that point. I saw that they're re-releasing Avatar 2. I think I want to say September or October in IMAX again.
We'll go see it again.
Absolutely. Kind of as a lead up. Yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, Avatar 2 coming out.
Avatar 2, Avatar 3, Avatar Fire and Ash. But for us, it's 2. I do remember after Avatar 2 going back and watching 1, and it is like, that was a while back now. Like, there's a moment where they're kind of, like, praying to the tree, and they're all grouped up together, kind of like whatever, they're, like, meditating or whatever, and it looks like Toy Story 1. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not. It looks good at the time.
I remember feeling like, this is what he intended for the first one.
Yep.
So yeah, and it can only go up from here, I imagine.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let him do it. I'm gonna keep watching these Avatar movies. I'll let you guys know when one is bad. Okay, at least in my opinion. Okay, but I tell you what, we're gonna keep moving on. We're gonna keep this episode light and tight this week. We're gonna get into our feature discussion. Like I said, we sat back and we watched Eddington, directed by Ari Aster from A24. It's got Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Luke Grimes, Michael Ward, Emma Stone, pretty low on the list there. Deirdre O'Connell, Austin Butler. I know, that's true. Austin Butler, William Bellew. I don't know how to say that wrong.
Bellew,
and
I think.
Bellew. Oh, okay. And Cameron Mann.
I tried to just list the key characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I went into this, and it only dawned on me as I was watching it, and then after the fact when it was over, this is my very first time actually seeing an Ari Aster movie, and I think it would have helped going into it, like knowing a little bit more of his vibe, because
I could have sworn you'd seen Midsommar.
Oh, did he do that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously I've seen that one. I've seen Midsommar.
Okay, I was going to say, I could have sworn you'd seen it. Maybe not Hereditary, right?
No, I did. He did that one too. Okay, definitely. Yeah. Okay, my bad. This is not my first one.
I was like, man, I could have sworn I remember you talking about Midsommar.
I guess what I was thinking was like Beau is Afraid. I didn't see that.
He did
one.
Beau is Afraid too. Yeah,
and I was like, I thought in my head, I guess I thought that was the first one or something. Man, I did see Hereditary and I really liked it. I did see Midsommar. I really liked that one. Okay. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think my opinion of this movie is slightly changing live on air.
Yeah, let me just adjust.
Let's pull back just a little bit. I'm going to think about that.
We'll be right back after this quick break.
But I just quick initial thoughts. I would just say I had a good time, but it shifted tone a little, not tone, but it just we shifted through a lot of things. We were like flipping pages, boom, 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 and I was kind of like, I'm still kind of catching up with that last thought I just had, and I'm already like, well, now there's this new thing that I'm kind of having to pay attention to. And you were really secretive a couple pages back, but now I'm trying to pick up on it what you were putting down there, and it took me a little bit to kind of like get my footing with the movie. But there were some things that I also really resonated with right away. I think for a chunk of this movie, like kind of the beginning and towards the end of the movie, not like the shootout, but they captured COVID, like 2020 COVID, like that. Yes. This is almost like historically accurate. How good that was and how just really subtle some of the dialogue was. I was just like, oh my God, I haven't heard that phrase in so long, but I remember it being so prevalent in 2020. And it's just like they really captured what it felt like to go through that. And I think for that alone is like everyone should see this. I remember I was telling Eric going into the theater, I saw it with my friend Eric. I when COVID happened, I did not want to see COVID. Like, I'm going to give you an example that you don't give a shit about, but it's like Grey's Anatomy that season immediately did a COVID storyline. And it's it made sense because it's a hospital show or whatever, but it's like, I do not want to watch COVID stuff because I'm so, I hear about it all the time and I'm so scared about it.
I want to watch more people wear masks.
I want to disassociate from this hellhole that we live in and just not think about COVID. But I was thinking it was very interesting going back into it years after, and kind of just like seeing those moments again and being like, oh, I totally remember how we all felt like this at different points. And how they do a really great job of capturing the two kind of sides of it.
Yeah. The multiple sides.
And the people that kind of played in that gray area also.
Yeah, absolutely. The fakes, I guess, or whatever. Yeah. The way... Sorry, I'm interrupting your overall thoughts.
But... No, I don't want to talk too much about it because we're going to get into it. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I think one thing, and maybe you said this last night, but I like ever since I saw it Saturday night. Yeah, I just wasn't able to stop thinking about this film. Yeah, because it captured, like you say, that moment in time, and it holds up brilliantly. This mirror, basically encapsulating where the US is right now, and what maybe triggered this. Like you said, it kind of just perfectly portrays all these multiple angles, which seem comical, but were just fucking accurate, sadly.
I definitely had moments where I was like the only person laughing in the theater, but there were also times where there were funny things happening, but it was also just like, I was just kind of rolling my eyes laughing. Like, oh my God, I totally remember those people, or I remember 100%. That statement, or I remember that sentiment and how silly it was and how silly it seems, you know?
And like it's so ludicrous that it couldn't be real, but sadly
it was. And it was spot on.
And there's so many of those moments.
Yes.
Yeah. A friend I saw it with said that it's like it paints the like liberals and stuff like that as cowards and hypocrites, but also paints like Republicans and conservatives as just scary and unpredictable. And I know that's kind of like a black and white kind of like very broad stroke description of this film. But it does that with, like we were saying, with all aspects. Like it
never forced anyone to take a side,
exactly.
Which I thought was really good. Is it like it presented both and it didn't ever make you go, you need to pick one or the other.
Right.
Just to tag onto what you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I think that was like the brilliant part of it, because a big part of it is not knowing who to root for. It sets itself up kind of as this like, it is technically like a modern Western, but you've got this small town with the sheriff and the mayor facing off, and you've got these sides, but then you see both sides of the coin, where whilst you're following this kind of one kind of way sheriff played by Joaquin Phoenix, you're also who he doesn't want to wear a mask. He says it hurts his breathing because he has asthma and stuff like that.
I have asthma.
And he thinks because of this distancing, people are treating people poorly now and stuff like that. And then you've got the mayor, who's trying to, played by Pedro Pascal, who's trying to, uphold those rules and kind of keep things as normalized as possible, whilst being respectful of those rules, but then at the same time kind of bending those rules to his own benefit.
You can remember, I just watching this, like I said, just specifically about COVID, that part of the movie, is I can remember those real life moments as well. Like, I think it was, I can't remember who, not the mayor of New York, but I think it was some politician in New York was like caught dining inside. You know what I mean? Like at the time when you weren't allowed to do that.
Boris Johnson had like a party at Parliament or something like that.
Exactly. And so, and there was a lot of that hypocrisy laid down in this movie as well. And
100%.
And they just really capture the people that, like, at the heart of it, like that people were just fighting. Like people were fighting each other. They were fighting,
antagonizing.
Yeah, they were fighting their own selves too. Then
doom scrolling.
Yeah. Yes.
Like the phones, social media, and everything are a massive factor in this film too, which I liked because that's a big source of the problem.
Then it just, for me, it then took like this turn that I didn't see
gonzo
coming, and not that it was I will talk about the big explosive moment kind of later in the film, but I just mean like all of a sudden,
should I go ahead and hit that spoiler button real quick, before we do dive into these details. This is going to be a spoiler-filled conversation.
We're going to talk about this movie,
and if you are interested in seeing it, definitely go see it before you listen to this.
I would say everything thus far has been very just like kind of surface level.
I think, yes, absolutely.
And kind of from the beginning of the movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are some things that happened that I was just kind of like, oh, this is what we're talking about now. But like, obviously Emma Stone's character, there was some history with Pedro Pascal.
Right.
And then they finally kind of share what it is at one point of the movie, but then they kind of make it really explicitly clear that there's this like kind of question mark on, was there abuse happening? She was kind of like groomed, I think was the case. And then the Austin Butler character comes in, who I expected to be this like cult leader. And obviously they were kind of like painting him a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But he had kind of a really tragic story, and he was uniting these other people who had really tragic stories. And I guess I just feel for like people who have been abused, and especially as children or young people. And I just found myself like, I don't think I can hate this person,
Right.
Like,
even though he's like you said, presented as this kind of
culty.
Yeah, well, it's framed like that for sure.
Yeah.
Like he's like touring and talking to people, and people are kind of flocking to him.
Yeah.
At that time, where again, social distancing and all of that was, trying to be enforced. So it keeps that character kind of in that gray area. But you're right, he has that moment where, a very brief moment. Like I was surprised how little we did see of him. Yeah. But yeah, like it's like you were saying, this movie has a way of just kind of like dropping this thing on you, and then I mean, not necessarily just completely like brushing it aside, but kind of like walking away from it. like sprinkling this here is like, we'll come back to this kind of thing. But yeah, sorry, I kind of interrupt you.
No, that's what I'm saying though. That's where it started to kind of like, I then got so focused on the fact that I just wasn't expecting that, because if you watch the trailer, the way it looks in the trailer is he's culty, and his like cult people, what I imagined was going to happen was COVID was going to take a back seat to the whole thing, and then it was going to be this like cult taking over this town, and that's what he was fighting at the end, was like trying to save the soul of his small little town, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was the vibe of where we were going, and that's not what happened. They, to keep in with the cult for a second, I think there was okay, hang on. You said earlier, this is I've been thinking about this. You said earlier you're not sure who to root for. And I think there's really no character that is worth rooting for. They all do really bad things.
Right.
And they all do something that just like kind of, you know, gets dirt on their hands. And you're like, I just can't, everything you touch is unclean, you know?
Yeah.
And some more so than others. But Joaquin Phoenix, I think this might be one of my favorite Joaquin Phoenix roles in some time, because he just really captures this type of like small town sheriff, you know?
Yeah.
And he's got this like failing marriage that he opens the movie with him like watching that video in his car about like, okay, so your spouse doesn't want to have a baby, but you do, and so there's kind of like this like just inherent sadness about him, like, oh man, I kind of want you to succeed and get the things that make you happy in life, you know?
But also, sorry, yeah.
Real quick, and then I'll move on. But then when he plans this dinner, which remind me again, when he plans this dinner, he like basically forces her to come have dinner with him that night. Is that after he makes that announcement? Is it after he made the announcement for mayor, or is it after he was like, my wife was raped?
Yeah. No, it was after he announced himself for mayor.
Right. Yeah, okay. Because in my head, I was like, I don't think we were quite there yet. Because I think at that point, if that's what had happened, I would have not been on his side. But in that scene, when he's like, he falls asleep at the table because she's 2 hours late, and she shows up and she's with other people, that hurt my heart a little bit, because I was like, oh man, like he's not doing the right things. He's making all these wrong choices. Right. But at the core of it, all he really wants is for like his wife and him to have a good relationship, that he wants to have a baby with her. He wants to have a family. And he's feeling all these beliefs, but really also he's really focused on his family and wants to stay focused on that. And then she's obviously like not. She's like, you can tell I'm checked out. I'm obviously like, I'm with this other crew now.
Clearly,
and we're not on the same page, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And I think that was the last time I felt any sort of like empathy towards him.
Yeah, sure.
Because it quickly dissipated shortly after that.
So I might be wrong, but I feel like, it was setting up either like a reflection of this toxic relationship, or that she had just been through some recent trauma. Mm-hmm. Or because she was like working on dolls and stuff like that, she was saying she wasn't well and stuff like that. Also, just the kind of creepy looking dolls, but he was buying on Etsy. But that video that you mentioned that he was searching, I thought it was saying like how you can trick your wife or get your wife to have babies.
So I do think that there was some sort of like little bit of manipulation tactic with that video.
Yeah.
But the way I saw it was he's kind of like innocently looking for help. Like, how can I convince my wife?
Rolling again.
Yeah. Like, how can I, in a truly genuine way, have this conversation with my wife and convince her that this, not just convince her, but also just express that this is what I want, and how do we get on the same page? But then the video itself was kind of like, the underlying message was kind of like, how can we get your other person to like be on the same page, whether they are or not? And it's like, and I just think that's kind of like his, kind of like naivete, and how he's just not quite all there, and is going to be easily swayed by things,
Yeah, but to what you said earlier, that's one of what I found to be like one of the great things about this film is like everybody is so morally gray.
Yeah,
if not just like abysmal.
And then some of them really make some bad choices. That
exactly
really,
100%. But that's what it's just like, because Emma Stone equally, you never get a clear understanding of her motives or what's going on with her.
Sorry, go ahead. I've talked a lot. You go.
No. But I mean, if you have thoughts on that, they're probably more than what I have, because I just wasn't able to pull enough from it. I felt like it was her dad who was the previous sheriff or had been at some time. So there was probably that need from Joaquin Phoenix's character to impress, but in a time where nobody impresses anymore, or for very long. And especially like being married to the daughter of said sheriff and living with the wife of said dead sheriff.
Yeah, the mother-in-law.
The mother-in-law, yeah.
Who's got her own bag of issues.
Exactly. You know? Oh, man. What an ending.
And I definitely want to talk about that in a little bit, too. But
100%. But yeah, so I think it's all these underlying notes that never fully have to be spelled out.
No,
and I just leave it.
Yeah, and I think that, to touch on what you're saying, that underlyingness of it all is you really have to kind of not just pay attention. They're not telling you what to feel or what to see, but they are kind of asking you to kind of empathize with these characters, whether they should be or shouldn't be. And you have to kind of connect the dots yourself. So for me, I never thought Emma Stone was presented as this like bad guy or bad wife. The way I took it, especially after Austin Butler came into the picture, and then they made that kind of like what the dirty past of it all was. It was like, oh, okay, this is someone who is probably like really probably pushed down a lot of trauma and is kind of just like numb to the world. Yeah. And that's why we see her the way we see her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never see her like dolled up. You never see her putting on a smile, or she's very secluded. She's almost I mean, I guess they're kind of framing it because COVID's already happening, but it almost feels like she would already have been kind of isolating in her like in her work, in her cave.
And it was like an excuse to
further do that.
Stay there. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't until someone came along and told her like, you can embrace what happened to you and also know that like you're not alone. And I think that's a really powerful message, which again kind of blew my mind. I couldn't believe that I was like, oh, I didn't realize this is where they were going with that angle. Right. And it made me empathize with them a lot more than just, oh, he's a hot cult leader and he's going to come and do all the cult stuff. It's oh, it made me see him differently, which I think that now that I think about that, I do think almost every character had that moment for me where it's like, oh, I see you differently now. And it didn't have to be a big explosive thing. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not like a stereotype of a character. They're actually developed. There's backstory to
even for being there for so little time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about these specific characters, but you've also got Michael Ward's character.
Who's Michael Ward?
Michael Ward was the black cop.
Oh yeah, man. Okay. So you got COVID, you've got this, like sexual abuse angle, and then you've got like Black Lives Matter and the riots, George Floyd. And it was just like, whoa, you really took this like bubble in time and said, we're doing it all. Like, all of this is happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it can be hard to keep up with.
Across the country from different backgrounds interpreted those events.
Absolutely. There was a really great moment, if we're going to talk about him for a second, there was a really great moment where they were watching, after he had announced the mayor, he was going to run for mayor, Joaquin Phoenix. You see a campaign ad for Pedro Pascal's character, where it gives a little bit of the background of like why Pedro Pascal and his son live alone. But then Joaquin Phoenix makes this comment about there's so many black people in this trailer, this campaign ad. We don't even have that many black people in town. And he points to the black sheriff, whose name I'm forgetting, but he kind of hits him on the shoulder. And he's like, "Are you seeing this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like this really subtle microaggression, which he would not have said, and then later is enforced by the other white deputy who was like, "Why are you making it such a big deal?" You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, oh man, it's like that's what it felt like at that time. There were those people that were like, "How are you going to make this such a big deal?" and they talk about George Floyd, and he goes, well, what was he doing? He starts to make excuses for the cops.
Yeah.
He's like, well, what was he doing wrong? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then having to backtrack because he has to be political for the camera. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Everybody was looking for validation in this film.
Yeah.
Especially, that younger deputy, but even Joaquin Phoenix towards Michael Ward's character. Just like, yeah, like, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you upset?
Yeah.
But all the while acting like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to be acting, kind of thing. With that, there's
not
looming.
Sincere.
Not sincere at all. No, just kind of playing by the numbers as they feel like they have to. But you see how quickly and gradually that deteriorates.
Oh yeah,
as it goes on. So let's get into some of those heavier
big moments.
Big moments. Okay, so yes, I think maybe the first big kickoff is there's a confrontation with Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal at a party that Pedro Pascal is hosting for his election run, and Joaquin Phoenix crashes it, and then he gets smacked around, and then Joaquin Phoenix goes on a bit of a killing spree. First off with the town hobo, who has been breaking into Pedro Pascal's bar, and then subsequently Pedro Pascal himself and his son.
I want to talk about those two moments really quickly.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So first off, I think correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like they didn't quite show it head on. And I was like, did I see that or am I imagining it? So obviously the whole first COVID part of the movie, he's like, I can't wear the mask. I can't wear the mask. I can't breathe in the mask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got asthma. I can't breathe in it. But after he shoots and kills the homeless person, he goes into like CSI mode where he's like, I got to collect all of not the evidence, but I have to like hide everything. I have to go through all these procedures so that they don't figure this out that I did it. And it looks like he's wearing a mask, and he's wearing the gloves and he's wearing all this stuff. And I might be wrong, but the way I interpreted that was like, all these people saying they couldn't wear the mask, you know what I mean? Until there was a reason that they had to. And then it's like, yeah, you probably couldn't, you would be okay. And I thought that was like a small commentary about that. But then he wraps him in the thing and he throws him in the river. And before we get to this part, right before it happened, Eric leaned over to me and he goes, hey man, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. And he gets up and he goes, and as he walked out of the theater, as he was almost out of the theater, he shoots the homeless guy. And he was like, oh yeah, I saw him shoot the homeless guy. I was in the hallway. I saw him shoot the homeless guy. And then when he comes back, he missed the whole Pedro Pascal thing. And I had to be like, I had to lean over to him. I was like, you will not understand. You will not believe what happened. I had to be like, he just did this. He just shot Pedro Pascal. He just shot his son, and he did it as a sniper. He was way away, and I had to like explain. He goes, what? And I was like, yeah, dude. And I feel like if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't know what was happening. And then later, there's like an almost slight reveal again because he admits to it at one point. And I was just like, oh, I almost wish I hadn't told him, because then maybe that would have been the reveal for him, But I didn't know that was going to happen, so I was like, "Bro, you're going to not understand anything that's going to happen."
Like he came in when he had already like cleaned it up and stuff.
They were investigating the crime scene the next day, or something around there. Like they had called him. Like, hey, you gotta get
that's a hard call. I gotta say,
know.
Because that is such a pivotal moment.
And how did you know that was going to happen?
Exactly. I mean, you'll never know now, but yeah, that's wild that he missed that.
When it did, so obviously he shot the homeless person, and that was a bit of a surprise. But when Pedro Pascal and his son are kind of having the small little argument from, each in their own rooms, and then you see the flash, and it goes through the window, and it goes through the chair, and it goes through Pedro Pascal's chest, the whole audience gasped.
Yes.
Everyone was, I don't know about you, my audience was lit on that.
Yeah.
And it was like
100%. But like you were saying, I think this movie garnered reactions throughout the whole time. Either giggles, gasps, guffaws. But yeah, from start to finish, but especially that moment, it was like big gasps. You could feel the just stillness in the room.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone was locked in.
Yeah, exactly. It happens at such a moment that it really does just like catch your attention, because despite what you just saw with what Joaquin Phoenix is you thought that was the end of his him venting or like lashing out as a reaction. No, that was just like the beginning of the evening.
Absolutely, and it's like he's turning, he's
and it's not the crazy. It's not nothing that any of these characters do is out the blue. It's all there. Like he was a top like marksman. And he was training Michael Ward previously or whatever, and has like a record for the longest shot and stuff like that. But like again, there is so much preceding this, that so many details that they've led to that moment. It's not shocking that character goes there. It doesn't feel unnatural or untrue to the character. It was just very like, oh shit, he actually went there kind of thing. And it's so visceral and like believable and rough. And then like he instantly goes about the framework, just cleaning and framing. Yeah. Again, manipulating the tensions of the time.
What I thought was so crazy is, to me, his character kind of seems like a little bit of I don't want to say stupid or dumb. Like if you think about Leonardo DiCaprio in Killers of the Flower Moon, like he was dumb in that movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Joaquin Phoenix is not that in this movie, but I did kind of feel this like kind of bumpkin energy, small town. He like, what does he really know about like police work or whatever? But the fact that it kicked in right away, and it's like he didn't need these like months long planning. He immediately knew what I had to do. He had to frame the social justice warriors, and he had to frame the black cop, and he just did it so effortlessly.
Yeah, instinctively. Like you don't realize what's happening in the moment.
No, not with the spray paint. But when
not the spray paint, but when he was interrogating that kid later, and the kid points to the black cop
photo,
and he suddenly leaves. Then and then later you realize, oh, that's what he was doing.
Oh yeah,
like he he out.
He knew exactly how to frame it, and it was like, oh, you are manipulative. You might not act on it on a lot of things, but you knew exactly what you had to do immediately in this moment, and that was scary. Like,
which
how fast.
I think is preceded, like the more, and this is just me like thinking back to it, and I want to, I kind of instantly wanted to see this movie again, but his whole candidacy speech where he does talk about Emma Stone's whatever incident, but you can, he's somebody who like thinks on his feet and reacts instinctively. Like he knows what the trigger words are or whatever. It's just like, well, let's just call it what it is. He kind of spirals from one thing to another. Like first off, trying to just call Pedro Pascal out for being whatever, like a womanizer or whatever, like he lost his wife and stuff like that, and then he just spirals and keeps spiraling, and going down this dark rabbit hole, but all for his own gains, because it makes him seem more like a victim than actually just trying to contend with this guy for mayor. It's like, and that's why I think Emma Stone's character is so quick to denounce it too. Later, but he is one of those, and obviously we see that in the ending too. He's adapting constantly, but it is that kind of like roughneck attitude about it, that just like that small town attitude where like his first reaction, or not even reaction, his first official thing following the murder is to tell people is like, if you value your life, think twice, because everybody in this town has a gun. I'm basically telling them they could shoot on sight.
You come in here, we'll shoot you.
I
just the way he takes over, and it's almost like he's not scared because he feels so confident that he can control that situation. That's really dawning on me now. The control and the manipulation.
And enter. That's why. That's the William Ballou character.
Is the white deputy?
No, as the Native American deputy from the neighboring
Yeah, I
town.
loved him because he
Yeah,
could sniff out the bullshit right away.
yeah, and I loved how that kind of like added like a almost like a humorous undertone. There are like these humorous undertones that are like both very real, but also it's just kind of funny situationally. And yeah, the way he was conducting his own investigation on the side in the most blatant fashion too, like taking a picture of the tire tracks and shit, all these things that Joaquin Phoenix hadn't thought about, after being so careful, but then, just took somebody who actually had a head on his shoulders, to piece certain things
Put it
together.
together.
Exactly.
Taking a picture of like the campaign ideas board in the office
with the handwriting and stuff,
and putting together the spray paint to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting how he, once they kind of frames the black deputy, and he, of course the white deputy's on his side. He's all riled up, this and that, and then later, there's that fire at the station. He has to come back in, and the guy's gone. They had thrown the black deputy in the cell, and he's not there anymore. And then when they find him in the field, the white deputy's like, I don't know, man, we should pull back. And Joaquin Phoenix is like, no, I got it. I'm blocking you. I'm covering you. You go ahead.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how he is through the whole second half of the movie. He's like always putting someone else in harm's way to keep himself. You know what I mean? So he can then either keep himself safe or he can figure out how to manipulate the situation. You know what I mean? So he can gather all of the information first.
Yeah.
I might have jumped ahead a little bit there, but that was also like the big moment of the movie, obviously, is like when Eric pointed out to me, which I didn't quite put this together in the moment, but it's like a quote unquote like George Soros like flew in Antifa. That's how he interpreted it.
Yes.
Which I didn't pick up on because I was just so lost.
Trying to stoke the flames of everything that was going on.
And it was like,
because they showed a brief clip of
on the plane.
I assume, yes, exactly, the private plane. And they're just kind of like partying. You don't get a clear sense of who they are. But yeah, 100%. And then the kid, again, I might be jumping too far ahead. The kid who's throughout the film, Cameron Mann, who's trying to win that girl over by like TikToking a book and shit like that, trying to impress her. And then
she doesn't do it. And he becomes an incel overnight.
Exactly. Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
But his what was I getting at?
When he like saves him at the end?
Yeah. But I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry. Shit.
His immediate takeaway in that moment was when he was like, I saved you.
Oh, yeah. Who did he that's what it reminded me of. The Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. I'm just
I picked up on that, and I said that to Eric afterwards, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't even realize." And I was like, "But the same thing about Antifa flying in, I didn't realize that was happening either." And it was like, obviously, when you say it, oh, that makes sense. And it was just like like I said, so many things were happening all at once. It was like you really have to know what the conspiracy theories were at the time, and also what were really happening at the time, so that you could kind of piece together what they're doing. But yeah, he like that was not the turn I was expecting from him.
Nope.
And again, that's really how this whole movie went for me. It was just like, we're gonna keep you surprised. You know what I mean? We're never going to go the direction you think we're going, but it is also going to be an area, with the exception of the very end. Most of it was like, oh, that makes total sense. You know what I mean?
Kind of like on a relatable level, you know what I mean? It's just like just everything is so like deja vu, just like, oh my god, yes, we lived this was just like actually
visceral reaction to something.
As much as a dramatization, a dark comedy, however you want to look at this film, it just like captures so perfectly that which I just kind of love about it. I just like the more I think about it.
It was definitely one that afterwards I was like, I'm going to think about this a lot.
Yes.
And I don't know if I have the quote unquote right. I was a little worried about, because we saw it last night. We were going to record tonight. I was like, oh man, I think I'm going to mess this up. Like, I think I'm just not like, there's so many things I'm not quite really picking up on.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things, like, I think on revisiting it, I will have a stronger opinion.
I was feeling a little intimidated about it before seeing it, purely because Bo is afraid.
See, I don't,
So much of that movie, I think, went over my head, maybe, but I struggled with it overall. I think it is a very trying movie, deliberately so. Like, I think maybe the first half of it is brilliant, and then it completely loses me. Well, and I was really afraid of that happening here. That was one thing I was a little nervous about.
Because that is kind of how I felt about this movie when I walked away from it. I was like, I really liked the beginning, and I think a lot of what happened, but there were moments that I was just kind of lost, and I was like, I don't really understand the choice that we're making here. And it's really only after the fact, thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I see a little bit more about what they were trying to do with that.
Yeah,
which is why I feel like a rewatch would be really great. But I do want to get to the end real quick, because I don't want to do a long episode tonight, Ed, if you're cool.
No, let's keep going.
So after a really jarring moment of him getting like stabbed in the head, and that's he almost survived like the gun battle.
Yeah, there's this massive gun battle.
Let's
talk about that just real quick, because I did want to talk about it. It explodes. The whole thing explodes into this. He's being chased by, I guess, Antifa or whatever, through the town, and he gets the one up. He manages to break into the town gun store, and then he breaks out with like a 50 caliber machine gun from like a helicopter from Vietnam or something like that, locked and loaded, asthma spiraling. And I do want to quickly mention, I just loved and also hated, just because of the reality of it, how his health was deteriorating throughout. Just like all those like little the little scratchiness, you could just feel it. They made it so icky.
His half step back, he caught COVID. He finally got
COVID. He basically got COVID, yeah.
And, there were the one moment where he was like laying down under the blanket. I was like, oh, I feel that right now. Like I know. The sweats, you're hot, everything. You're cold. Yeah, you don't taste it. He eats the coffee grinds. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh my god, I remember it.
Yeah, man.
And on top of the asthma throughout this whole gun battle, he
just like starts tearing up the town. He accidentally kills
the cop,
the other cop,
the Native American cop.
Or he at least rips off his leg, and the other guy kills him.
Oh, the other guy shoots him. That's
and the gunfire. I mean, it's just like mayhem. And then he tries. I guess he sees the incel kid hiding behind the car. He doesn't know that's him. Starts shooting at the car, and then the other guy comes running up to him with a knife and just like bam right in the head. Oh man, the visual thing of the like coming straight to him, and then you're just like, oh, he's gonna get him. He's gonna like shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
He's gonna and it doesn't happen.
Nope.
He straight up gets stabbed in the fucking head.
Right, and it's just like, oh,
twice.
That
is like
that's
one.
Gotta hurt.
Oh my god,
that's gotta. And you were like, yeah, he's dead. Okay, and then the kid comes around the corner, filming himself in his like Kyle Rittenhouse moment, shooting the guy. And him being like, I saved you. I was just like, oh, of course. And you think, oh, he's going to die. And then it cuts to like the TikTok a year later. And you see the path that everyone went down.
Yeah. He's got like a selfie with Marjorie Taylor Greene and stuff like that. I'm just like,
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, man. Yeah. So on point.
He has this like incel like conservative radio podcast where he's talking. I can't remember who he's talking to, but he talks about how, I don't know if you caught this, he's referring to Michelle Obama running for president, but he calls her Big Mike. Did you catch that dialogue at all?
I may have missed that. Or
there's this whole conspiracy theory that was going around at the time that Michelle Obama transitioned or actually is a man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Transition into a female, and that's why she's so jacked. And he's talking about her healthy food initiative and this and that. And I was just like, I hated hearing it again, but at the same time, it was like so true to that character, that type of person,
and his arc basically into this.
Yeah. Yes, and so,
because that's a lot of what COVID did is just created these little fuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's almost off-putting, just like how real this film is.
That's what I mean about a visceral reaction.
It's also just so brilliant how it so perfectly captures it. So let's get to the end. He gets stabbed in the head, and then he survives and is. And see, I could have sworn like it was gonna just be the COVID that spirals, and because he had asthma, he was gonna be like on a breathing machine or something like that. That's where I thought it was going.
Yeah.
So nope. He, in a different way, he's basically a paraplegic now.
Yeah.
And his mother-in-law, who spent most of the movie,
like kooky conspiracy theorist hating him.
Yeah. I guess like maybe it was just showing like just like anybody else, she was just
greedy,
greedy. It was she took advantage of a situation that came away. She inherited the mayor of the city, basically.
Eric pointed out to me, which I had forgotten, is that he like saves her in the house when he like initially thinks that she's Emma Stone. And then you realize, oh no, that's the mom is running around the house in the shadows. And then there's like a sniper fire or whatever that he saves her.
They attack the house. Yeah,
because I initially was like, I don't understand why she would, even if she was like wanting to reap the benefits of the mayor, like she hated him the entire time.
Right.
Like, why would she all of a sudden do so much for him? And I was like, okay, I guess that she was saved by him, so technically she feels like
I think she's just got to keep
him close.
Keep him alive, basically.
So,
just like,
and of course,
keep him
the house they go into is like this big, nice house, and they can afford this caretaker.
Yep.
The line I loved from him was like, "Oh, I drank too much today." I was like, and she kind of laughs at him, like she's like, "Oh, haha," you know what I mean? But the thing that really random penis, I was like, "Oh, okay, there's penis."
There it is.
Wasn't expecting that, but okay. And then like he smacks, like Joaquin Phoenix kind of has like a reaction, and then the nurse smacks him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm
sorry, man. I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have done it. The thing that weirded me out the most, and it kept getting weirder and weirder, was
penis.
Whatever penises happen, whatever, who cares?
Nah,
but like they get him into bed. And you think, okay, the nurse is finally going to go home for the day. I was sitting there thinking, man, what a long day for that guy. He's probably going to come back tomorrow. Like, God, she's really dedicated to this job. But he's going to leave, and then she's getting into bed, and she's kind of in like a little nightgown. It's like a little like that's weird. And then you're getting into bed together. Oh, that's
with your son-in-law. Yeah,
I don't really understand the situation, but maybe it's like a power thing, or I don't know, and then all of a sudden the nurse comes back in and starts taking off his clothes and climbing into bed just to go to sleep. It looks like they're just like they're going
and
to
snuggle with her,
and snuggle, and that's how the movie ends. And I was just like, I sat there going, now I'm getting lost again. Like this is like that weird bold choice that they're like, haha, like we did something silly at the end. But I was just like, oh man, that visual was, because it was like, oh, is she abusing him? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like financially or whatever. But it's like, is she also like sexually? That's what I thought was happening. And I thought it was about to be like a full circle moment, because they never really say, like, did the sheriff dad, was he like not involved,
I don't know,
but he like covered it up,
abusing him like physically or anything, but I think tormenting him.
Yeah.
I think maybe her disdain for him runs deep, and like I said, I think she was purely there to keep him alive and keep that cash cow alive.
Yep.
And she could do with that, like she sold off to that energy company that was gonna suck up all their and she's reaping the benefits, obviously. And probably just found somebody who's as much of a parasite as she is with the live-in nurse, who will just kind of
so she can manipulate him,
Yeah, exactly. And they've got a nice life up there, jacuzzi and stuff like that. He just has to drag him around naked every now and again. But they have all the finest like medical equipment too.
Yep.
To make their lives a little easier. So I mean, it's just a very bleak mirror image of that whole scenario. But I really did, after sitting with it for a while, I think overall I kind of loved this movie, and it'll be interesting to see it again on a second watch.
Yeah.
But it's definitely up there for me of some of my favorites this year. I can't believe he didn't make the connection between Ari Aster and Midsommar and Hereditary.
No, not at all. Those feel like two totally different types of movies.
Definitely. And after Beau is Afraid, I was just like, okay, this might be a very unpredictable director who I might not be on board with for every project.
Yeah, but you also can't go into it knowing this is going to be this type of movie. Like you have to kind of take the lead.
But I'm so glad I did with Eddington, and I think everybody really sang in this film.
Sure.
I think I'm so glad what you said about Joaquin Phoenix. I also came away from it thinking like, oh, this is a really great performance from him.
I thought he was so good. I think everyone really turned in a really good performance.
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal, I was thinking about it earlier today. Was at first I was like, I don't know, like I don't have Pedro Pascal fatigue like some people do, but I was like, he didn't really stand out as much. But then I was like, but maybe that was the point, he never like he stood out when he needed to, but he never like overshined or anything like that.
I think that's the thing is like we were mostly stuck with Joaquin Phoenix's character anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they painted him, and that's what I kind of like. It's one thing that kind of releases me from the fatigue is that Pedro Pascal isn't taking, like, whilst he is showing up in everything, some of these roles that he's taking aren't the most, he's not the hero every time.
Exactly.
He's not going to come out on top every time. He doesn't mind like showing up in a film and getting whacked halfway through it or whatever. He doesn't have that ego,
it's like at this point, how many?
Like, Drive Away Dolls, he got killed in the first couple of minutes in a brilliant way, and it's the same here. And it really just kind of worked. And I think that character too, just like that kind of, he paints himself as this like average Joe, man of the people kind of thing, but he also enjoys his luxuries. Yeah, exactly.
I like I said, rewatch I think is necessary. I'm gonna give it some time. I'll probably watch it at home,
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell my wife like I don't know if I like it, and I don't know if you would like it, but I do think it's worthy of a watch. Like it is. There are some choices.
Jolly good conversation. Yeah.
Last thought here is I always like getting to hang out with Eric, but this was one of the first times we saw. Like I'm trying to think of the movies I've seen with him now, but like we stood there. We stood there outside of the theater talking for like 20 minutes, and it's like, you missed that,
Yeah, no, I love that when a movie can do that for you and you want to,
you
just want to unwrap everything.
We live in different states and all of us, and it's like we get this time during the week to do this, or we can text or we can call, but like to stand there with a person who like the energy is like you can feel it between the two of you, and you're like, oh my God, I can't like that. So many things I'm thinking of right now. It was nice to kind of have that moment with this movie because it was such a conversation starter.
Yeah.
You needed to talk about it,
Exactly. And it sucks having to just like, just for our listeners, we usually try and hold our responses to certain films that we know we're going to watch together.
Yeah.
So we can discuss it purely on the pod, which I get that, but my God, is it one of the most frustrating elements about this?
It can be hard.
It can. Sometimes I just want to geek out or whatever, discuss with you guys. Like, I really did want to talk to somebody about this movie, and I did get to a little bit, but primarily I've been looking forward to this conversation so I can unpack about it.
I will say,
there is so much.
What helps with us not talking about it right away, though, is it gives me the time to really think of it. Because, like, same with Superman. Like, I hated Superman when I first saw it, and it gave me time.
Bursting.
I know, and it gave me time to really think about it and like get to see it again and to like let it digest and not try to have these like knee jerk responses. And I think same for this one. Like, if I'd gotten out of that movie, we had to record a podcast right then and there. I don't know if it would have gone over the same.
Yeah, I think I would have sounded a lot dumber.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, same.
I think I needed to let it breathe for a minute, but overall, like I said, I really had a good time with it overall. Funnily enough, what I did right after seeing this movie, I went to Kroger And the whole time I was just thinking, I really wish I had a mask on.
Wow. Wow.
So it's one of those movies. It just makes you, there's like enough ickiness about it. It creates that atmosphere where you're just like, get away from me.
Well, we'll keep it short tonight because, you know, like we said about Luis. So we're going to wrap up. Thanks for letting us breathe, you know what I mean, on this movie and giving us a chance to kind of talk about it.
Go out and check it out. Like, if you want,
go see it. Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
Like, we all lived through COVID.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will take different things away from this film.
I agree.
But I think it's worth watching if you appreciate Ari Aster, if you were like looking forward to his next movie. But also the cast is great.
Yeah, it's a good cast.
And so, yeah, I think, you know, if you want something like fresh and original, like, check this out.
Absolutely. All right. Been a great episode.
I think we did great.
There you go, Luis.
No,
we kept it nice and tight. No, thank you. So that's Punch Drunk Nerd. Follow us on all the socials, like us, review us on your favorite podcast platforms. I've been your host tonight, Miguel Sanchez. With me,
Ed Ball. And don't forget to find us on YouTube, where you can see Miguel's nice new haircut.
Oh, I thought you were going to wear my hoodie. Yeah, I got a haircut. Yeah, it looks nice.
You've had this hoodie. You've worn this before.
I don't know why. I just thought you were going to talk about it because I love it. Okay, sorry.
I like it too. It looks like you splattered wine all over yourself.
I did.
I was just trying to get you look clean cut. You look sharp. You know, clearly Luis was out, so you had to step it up.
Someone had to look good tonight.
Exactly. Here I am, like sweating. And...
I know it was cold and rainy time. All right, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Until next time.